This muzakara of iman is so important. Today if we look at our homes, those instruments of shaitan, those instruments of zina, the shaitan boxes that are destroying the morality of our homes, destroying the morality of our lives. Father, mother, children sitting together looking at zina taking place. Azan is called out, still the zina is going on. Even if we leave that, some people leave and go to the masjid and then go back to that, what type of salah will they make? Allah's Rasul said, Al-Imanu wal-Haya'u Qurana'u Jami'a Idha rufi'a ahaduhuma rufi'a al-akhar. He said, Iman and Haya and shame, modesty are two inseparable entities. Idha rufi'a ahaduhuma rufi'a al-akhar. If there is no Haya, there is no Iman. Today Haya has hidden away in some cave, has gone out of the ummah. Our elders are saying that that qawm, that nation which is adi of behayai, of shamelessness, that nation in whose blood vessels have become clogged with behayai and shamelessness, that the whole family sits together and looks at nakedness. They say that to destroy such a people, you don't need an atom bomb. वो पहले ही से मरे हुए, they already dead. What effect will they be in the dua? What ta'alluq with Allah will they have? जिसका नजर आवारा हो गया, that one whose gaze has become free. Ulama say 1,000 awliya put together will never be able to guide such a person whose gaze has become free. This is why our elders are saying, bring alive the muzakara of iman in our homes. Allah is commanding. Luqman said to his son, Ya Bunayya, is ishara, that where the sabak of iman must start with our children at home. Nowadays when you say, talk to our children about the greatness of Allah, about Jannat, about Jahannam, about Qabr, about Akhirat, what they say? Why are you talking depressing topics? Talk interesting topics. We say they are too young. They are too young for the muzakara of iman. They are not too young for cartoons. They are not too young for the latest IT and latest techno gadgets. But they are too young for the talks of Allah, the talks of Qabr, the talks of Jannah, the talks of Jahannam, talks of Akhirat. Once Bahlul Rahmatullah alayhi goes into the marketplace, and he sees some children playing. On one side there is one child sitting and crying. Bahlul thinks to himself that maybe this child doesn't have toys to play with other children. This is why this child is sad and crying. So Bahlul goes to the child and says that let me buy you some toys, you can also play. He looks at Bahlul and he says, Bahlul, I am not crying. I am not crying because I don't have toys. So he says, why are you crying? The youngster responds and he says, Bahlul, the fear of Jahannam is making me cry. The fear of Jahannam is making me cry. A response like this, where such a response comes from? When the environment of iman is in the home. Today we are worried about gender equality. People are marching for female rights. All sorts of batil ideas are being propagated. Behind it is what? Behind it is this mindset to remove the woman from the home and bring her into the marketplace. To remove her from that role which Allah has granted her. And to cheapen her, to make her a commodity in the marketplace. So that if they want to sell a loaf of bread, they make a woman naked. If they want to sell a car, they want to make a woman naked. This is not culture, this is animalism. This is not equality and advancement. Such a batil environment we are living in that today no one understands what is the maqam of a mother. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, great muhaddis. He knew more than 100,000 ahadith by heart. Thousands of students. One day he grabs hold of the foot of his mother and he starts kissing her feet. His mother gets embarrassed. She says, my son, what are you doing? How can you kiss my feet? He said, oh my mother, I am not kissing your feet. I am kissing my Jannat. Inna al-jannata tahta aqdamil ummahat. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you want to find Jannat, you will find it underneath the feet of your mother. Where is today the maqam of a mother? Where is the maqam of a sister? Where is the maqam of a wife? This understanding, this perception has come out. Such an effort of batil is taking place, my respected masturat. Allah has given the woman of this ummah that responsibility, that if it was told to her to move mountains, it would be easier than the responsibility and task which Allah has given her. What is that task? That Allah has made her the first madrasa of this ummah. The flowers of Islam, the true lovers of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the servants of Islam, will come from where? Will come from the lap of the mothers of this ummah. Cry tears of blood when you see that young woman driving around in her fancy car with the Ray-Bans on, with the hair open. She drops that 8 or 9-year-old young girl off with her skirt or frock to play in the park. Look at that masoom little child and ask yourselves the question, my respected masturat, when this is the type of mother, then tomorrow, who is going to teach that child that you have to become the daughter of Aisha? Or that you have to become the daughter of Khadijatul Kubra? Or you have to become the daughter of Fatimatul Zahra radiyallahu anha ajma'in? We haven't understood the responsibility that Allah has given us. Allah has given the woman of this ummah that status, that she is the first madrasa of Islam. Such a maqam, such a status, such a responsibility Allah has given. This muzakara of Iman, I remember a few years ago, Masturat Jamat from Sri Lanka came to South Africa. They were giving Karguzari. They were saying that they have daily home talim, not masjid talim, home talim. They say daily home talim, 1.5 hours every day. 1.5 hours every day home talim. What we'll ask ourselves, where they find the time? Where they find the time? For TV, there's time. For internet, there's time. For shopping, there's time. For everything else, there's time. But for Qala Allah and Qala Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's no time. Coming back to this incident, Bahlul says to this youngster, the youngster says, I am crying because the fear of Jahannam is making me cry. Bahlul tests the veracity of this youngster. He says, you are still a small boy. This is not your time to worry about Jannat and Jahannam. This youngster looks at Bahlul and says, Bahlul, do not make a fool of me. I have observed, when my mother prepares the fire to cook food, she throws the small twigs in first, then she throws the big branches. I fear Allah will use us youngsters first to churn Jahannam, then the elders will be thrown into Jahannam. This type of Iman, this type of consciousness, this type of ihsas of akhirat. Imam Tastari rahmatullah alayhi was a 3-year-old boy. One night he gets up. He notices that his uncle is making tahajjud salah. His maternal uncle is Mamu. And uncle observed that this little child has woken up. He interrupts his salah and he turns to this child. 3-year-old boy. 3-year-old boy, he starts teaching him the sabak of Iman. He says to this little boy, say Allahu shahidi, Allahu ma'i, Allahu nazirun ilayya. Say Allah is my companion, Allah is with me, Allah is looking at me. He says, say this 7 times. 3-year-old child. Every day he started getting up. Same time his uncle would get up for tahajjud, this child would wake up and this child would say Allahu shahidi, Allahu ma'i, Allahu nazirun ilayya. First 7 times, then 21 times. After a few weeks have passed, Imam Tastari rahmatullah alayhi says, my uncle asked me, That now when you are saying this, Allahu Shahidi, Allahu Ma'i, Allahu Nadirun Ilayya, what are you experiencing? He says, when I take the name of Allah, I can taste the sweetness of Allah's name in my mouth. 3-year-old child says, I can taste the sweetness of Allah's name in my mouth. Why that kind of effort? The same Imam Tastari Rahmatullah alayhi, when he was a grown person, one person says, I stood behind him in Tahajjud Salah. He was reading Surah Dahr. Allah Ta'ala describes Jannat in Surah Dahr, Ra'yul Ayn, as if you can see Jannat. On one occasion, one black Sahabi comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he says, إِنَّكُمْ فُضِّلْتُمْ عَلَيْنَا بِالْأَلْوَانِ وَالصُّوَرِ وَالدِّينِ أَرَأَيْتْ إِنْ آمَنْتُ بِمَا آمَنْتُ وَعَمِلْتُ بِمَا عَمِلْتُ أَكُنْتُ مَعَكَ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. He says, Ya Rasulullah, you Arabs have been given virtue over us. Your wealth is more, your social status is more. You have been given virtue over us by virtue of your color also. But I'm not worried about this dunya. I'm not worried about this dunya. Such an effort of akhirat, Allah's Rasul ﷺ had made on Sahaba Ikram in Medina Munawwara, that the focus of the heart was only akhirat. He says, I'm not worried about this dunya. Tell me, in amantu bima amant, wa amiltu bima amilt, if I bring iman, like you have brought iman, and I follow your way of life, I make you my imam, my day becomes your day, my night becomes your night. Amiltu bima amil. Akuntu ma'aka fil jannah. Will Allah raise me with you in Jannah? Allahu Akbar. What does Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say to him? La yahummuka sawadu wajhik. Don't worry about your color. Don't worry about your wealth. Don't worry about your social status. Allah doesn't look at all this. Inna Allah la yanzuru ila suwarikum. وَلَا إِلَىٰ أَمْوَالِكُمْ. Allah doesn't look at your appearance or your wealth. وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. Allah looks at the heart. Allah looks at the amal. This month of Ramadan was given to us for what? كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامِ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So that you develop taqwa. So that the inside is made. Insan ki कीमत बाहर की चीजों से नहीं होते, अंदर के सरमाया से बनते हैं. The value of this human being in Allah's court is not dependent on that which is external, outside. The value is what is inside. What type of outfit I'm wearing, what type of car I'm driving, what type of house I'm living in. Wallah, this counts for nothing. What is inside? Is this heart beating with the love of Allah? Is this heart beating with the recognition of Allah? When my mata, my forehead is in sajda on the ground before Allah, where is my heart? We have erected idols of commerce, idols of industry, idols of shop, idols of job, idols of everything else. So that today even the musalli, the forehead is on the ground in sajda, but the heart is making sajda to these idols. The khushu and khudu is not there in salah. The ta'alluq with Allah is not there. The value of this human being is what is inside, not what is outside. Allah's Rasul says to this person, La yahummuka sawadu wajhik. Do not worry about your complexion or social status or wealth. In amantu bima amant, wa amiltu bima amilt, lakunta ma'i fil jannah, wa inna balataka al-aswad la yura min masafati alfi aam. If you bring iman like I have brought iman, and you do good deeds like I have done, you follow my way of life, not only will you be with me in Jannah, Allah will give your face such nur. In this world you was black, yet Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says Allah will give your face such nur that it will be seen for a distance of 1,000 years. Value is what is inside. If you look at the basis of which this world judges women, generally a woman is judged by what? By her wealth, or by her social status, which family she comes from, or by her lineage, how many children she has, or by her appearance, how attractive she is. These are the four things by which generally society judges a woman. If you have to use the same criteria, to judge Rabia Basri rahmatullah alayha, social status, she was a slave, freed slave, she had no status. Color, she was a black woman. Wealth, she had no wealth, she was poor. Children, she was barren, she was barren, she couldn't bear children. If you use the same criteria which society judges, then there is no basis whatsoever, my respected Masturat, that 13 centuries later, in this little town of Lilongwe in Malawi, we should be talking about Rabia. As far as society is concerned, she is a non-entity. But, what was inside? What was inside? Every night she would go to her husband, and she would ask him that, do you have need for me? If his answer was no, then it was Rabia and her Allah. It was Rabia and the Musalla. And the entire night would be spent in ibadat of Allah. The entire night would be spent in Allah's ta'alluq. These months are given to us for that. That we become aadi of going on the Musalla at the time of tahajjud and crying before Allah. If you look at someone on the Musalla crying in the dead of night, outwardly it appears that this person is suffering, sobbing, crying, tears are pouring down the cheeks. It looks like the person is in grief, in sorrow, in some hardship, in some difficulty, yet my respected Masturat, by the qasam of my Allah, in the dead of night on that Musalla, and a person is talking to Allah, crying out of the shawq of Jannat, crying out of the fear of Jahannam, making dua for the hidayat of humanity, and those hot tears are rolling down the cheeks. Allah places such ecstasy, such enjoyment, such lazzat in the heart, that nothing in this world can ever compare with that. Ibrahim bin Adham rahimahullah used to say, Ahlul layli fi laylihim aladhu min ahli lahwi fi lahwihim. The people of the night, the people of tahajjud salah, Allah gives them that lazzat and ecstasy that the people of gunah, the people of the dens of vice, the people of the casinos, or the gambling houses, or the places of music, or the places of Allah's disobedience, or the naked films that this ummah is looking at till late hours of the night. What are they searching for? They're searching for some enjoyment, some ecstasy. They are searching to try to put out that fire that is burning inside. But little do we understand, my respected Masturat, that thirst, that fire that is burning inside is not coming from the body. It is coming from the soul, from the ruh of this insan. And the soul, the ruh of this insan, Janab Rasulullah said, Kullu mawludin yuladu ala al-fitra. Allah has created every human being that naturally, intrinsically, the ruh and the soul of this insan calls out for Allah. Calls out for the way of life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It will never find peace, never find contentment in anything else. Because of that bechani and restlessness inside, we are trying to put out that fire. We are trying to appease that thirst with the haram music of this world, with the naked films of this world, with the haram attractions of this world, yet the fire is raging. The fire is not being put out. That inner peace is not coming. Why? Why? Because if it was possible to find itminan and to find peace in the haram activities of this world, what haven't they tried? Like the poet says, Sobar chaman mehka, Sobar bahar aayi, dunya ki wahi ronak, dil ki wahi tanhai. Bathrooms on aeroplanes, 5-star hotels, luxury resort. What and what to give the peace inside, yet the bechani is increasing. Why? Because if it was possible to find peace in these things, then my respected masturat, the Quran of my Allah will be lying. And the Quran of my Allah does not lie. Allah says, Allah. This word Allah in Arabic is like a siren going off. It's like you take a hammer and knock it on somebody's head. Like they say, "Nur kisi ko jinjorna." Like you take somebody and shake him. Wake up, listen, hearken, put up your ears. Allah, Allah. Bi-dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Only in the zikr of Allah, only in the obedience of Allah will this heart ever find peace. It will never find it in the haram activities of this world. Ahlul layli fi laylihim aladhu min ahli lahwi fi lahwihim. The people of tahajjud salah, the people of the musalla, the people of Allah's ta'alluq, the people of Allah's ma'rifat, Allah gives them that satisfaction, that ecstasy, that enjoyment that the people of haram will never find. When the husband of Rabia Basri passed away, no lesser a personality than Hassan Basri, Imam of his time, Imam Hassan Basri rahimahullah, he sends proposal for Rabia, not because of any physical desire, but he wanted the face of Rabia.